Hello and welcome to Pisces Moon Astrology. I'm your astrologer, Kate Leonard, and I'm excited to explore the stars with you. Hi everyone, welcome to the week of March 22nd through March 28th. And this week I am talking about the double kazimi week we're having. What does that mean? The sun is going to meet up with first Neptune on the 22nd and then Saturn on the 25th. And if you know anything about astrology, if you've been listening to me for a while, you know that it is a very big deal when any planet meets exactly, goes conjunct with the sun. And so let's get into it. I'm going to do the sign by sign. And yeah, let's make that happen. So first, I want to do all the thank yous. Thank you. That's what I have to say. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing and all of that. You know that as I'm moving steadily toward that 100th episode, I can't even believe how close. This is episode 87, I think. As we're moving toward 100, I really, really want to see the numbers get up there. And I don't even know what number I'm shooting for because numbers are different on all the apps and stuff like that. I want like a bazillion listeners, right? Who doesn't? So if you could help me out by leaving me a good review, sharing the podcast, all of that kind of stuff, it would be great. And don't forget, if you want a deeper deep dive than the little blurb I give you at the beginning of the podcast, you will find that over on Pisces Moon in Substack. Totally free, I promise, even though it asks you for your email. I do not spam you or, bombard you with emails. I am just not even together enough to do that. So I promise you, you're safe to go over there and sign up for my Substack, and it'll just give you more details. So anyway, let's get into it because it's a lot. Here's what's going on. On the 22nd, Neptune. Now, y'all know I hate Neptune, but I'm going to try to be fair here. At his best, he is dreams and creativity and spirituality and all of that. And he's going into the heart of the sun. That's what a kazimi is. He's going exactly conjunct with the sun. What happens there is everything old and outworn and not working gets burnt away, and he's like recharged. It's like hooking him up to a battery charger, the ultimate cosmic battery charger, and he's renewed. And that means he's got full energy to help us manifest our dreams, right? That part of Neptune is truly beautiful. The other thing I want to point out, though, because I can't say only good stuff about Neptune. That would blow my style or something, right? But the other thing is, why I don't like Neptune is he is illusion, delusion, outright lying and dishonesty, okay? That is also Neptune. And with his connection to the sun, if there are ways that we've been deluding ourselves, playing games with ourselves, whatever, wearing those rose-colored glasses that we just refuse to take off, yeah, those glasses going to get melted away this week, and we're going to have to look at that game we've been playing. Okay, so that's the other side of it. Anyway, moving right along on the general, on March 25th, Saturn is going to take that position in the heart of the sun. And this is really interesting. Remember, all of this is going on in Aries, where Neptune and Saturn did that giant conjunction at 0 degrees. What was that, just a couple of months ago or whatever? Maybe only like a month ago. Oh my gosh. Anyway, this is all activating that energy. That, remember I told you when Neptune and Saturn joined up, I said this is really about dissolving old structures and building to our new dreams, right? Building structures that will support our new dreams. Well, now these conjunctions are activating that energy. There are a few degrees now between Neptune and Saturn. And so first the sun recharges Neptune, then moves over to Saturn, and again, burns up the remnants of all those old structures and old systems that we just don't need anymore, right? That just aren't serving us. And then really gives us the energy, shines the light on the work we need to do. So it's like putting the flashlight on it and going, see right over there, that dusty corner? Yeah, you need to get over there and clean that up. It really shines the light on where work needs to be done in order that we can turn our dreams into reality. So it's a really, really good thing. In addition, there's not a whole lot else going on this week, except on the 22nd, Mercury is going to make his final conjunction with the North Node of Destiny. So this is the third and final pass during this retrograde cycle. He crossed forward over fate, the North Node of Destiny going forward. He retrograded back over, and now this is going to be that third pass. So expect the synchronicities, fated things to be coming up and happening around ideas, communication, business deals, travel, all of that kind of stuff. And this time, it won't be so that we can then later redo it. This time is the final pass and we will move forward. So that is a really good thing. And I know we're all super ready for that. Otherwise, that's kind of it. You writers out there, you know that Mercury is your planet. So writers, anybody who's a communicator for a living, that kind of thing, this is a good time to move forward with those projects. All right. Now, I think that's kind of it. Let's get into the sign by sign. And don't forget, when you're listening for your signs, the rising sign is who you are. That's going to be the most accurate. If you don't know your rising sign, listen to your sun sign. And the moon is always more internal. Unless you're a nighttime chart, if you were born at night, the moon is sometimes most accurate for you. But for everybody, day or night, rising. Listen to your rising. If you want the most comprehensive understanding, listen to all three. All right, as always, we are starting with Aries. And Aries, this is happening in your first house. This is all about you. This is your dreams for yourself, right? The Sun, Neptune, kazimi, the first one. This is all about getting really to the heart of what do you want? What do you want? What do you want to be? Who do you want to be? What do you want to accomplish? How do you want to see yourself? Not necessarily how do you want others to see you, right? But how do you want to see yourself? This is about identity, burning up what doesn't serve anymore. And if you've been playing games with yourself about who you are, like, I'm going to throw out random examples, but you think of yourself as a really giving person, but you don't actually go out and give to others or get involved in the community or whatever that would mean. But you always think that you're so giving. Well, you're going to see that. The sun's going to light up that delusion or those lies you've been telling yourself. I'm a loving person, but you get really demanding of people a lot or something, whatever it is. You get what I'm saying? Like if there are games that you've been playing with yourself about who you are, yeah, you're going to see those so that you can do better. Yeah, exactly. And then the sun will meet up with Saturn, and that is going to be to look at what work do you need to do. Now you see yourself and you've thought about what are your real dreams and all of that. And now it's time to build the structure to support that. What work needs to be done to manifest those dreams? I think it's really wonderful, but these are personal dreams. That's what Aries is all about this week. And now moving on to Taurus. Taurus, for you, this is kind of trippy. This is in your 12th house, the house of mystery and invisibility, the house of deep psychology, and also literal dreams, the kind of dreams that we have when we're sleeping, right? And the work we do behind the scenes. So for you, I really think the Saturn-Neptune thing is going to be very, very simply tapping into your intuition. That's a 12th house thing very often. Tapping into your intuition and saying, what do I dream? What are my dreams? Really looking at them and, allowing yourself to go into fantasy even. Like really, because the 12th house has to do with hiding in fantasy. But I think for this, it's more like be fanciful if anything were possible, because almost anything is. What would I want? What is my dream? If I allow myself to truly dream, that's going to be that Sun-Neptune thing. And then on to Saturn. How do I make my dreams come true? I think there's a scene at the end of Rocky Horror Picture Show. Is that still a thing people watch? Back in my day, you had to go like every week. I think I saw it 134 times. Anyway, I think there's a scene at the end, and the line is something like, don't dream it, be it, or something like that. I could be totally wrong, but that's my memory. You would think if I saw it that many times, I would know, but there you go. Anyway, this is what that is. Go into fantasy. What do you dare to dream? And then how do you make that real? How do you bring that into the real world? I love that a lot for you, Taurus. Now for Gemini. Gemini, this is happening in your 11th house. 11th house is your tribe. What people do you want around you? What are your dreams? What are your hopes? What kind of people do you want to attract to you? What kinds of relationships do you want? How do you want to show up in your community? What groups would you like to start, lead, be a part of? Those kinds of things. This is group identity, and it's your tribe. And then what work do you need to do? We don't just get friends because it's like, whoa, I want all these really cool spiritual friends, or I want all of these really cool, successful go-getter friends. Well, you got to do the stuff to get those friends. You have to be living that life. You have to go where those people are to meet them. You have to take initiative and invite them into your life in some way, right? And Saturn will help you do that. So this is really about dreaming the dream of connection and then going out and doing the work that it takes to foster relationships. Does that make sense? I think it does. Okay. And now on to Cancer. Cancer, this is happening in your 10th house of career. What do you want to do? What's the question? What do you want to be when you grow up, right? That's what this is asking you. But Neptune is saying, don't be practical for just a minute. Saturn's going to help you get practical. Okay, so the good thing about this for all of us, the good thing about this Neptune-Saturn thing is Neptune will let us get all out there in the ozone, right? And Saturn will bring us back down to Earth and help us get practical about it. So when you're thinking about your career, does it really suit you? Does it make your heart sing? Does it align with your spirituality? Neptune is spiritual. Are you using your creativity? And I don't mean everybody has to go want to be an artist, but I think we all want to use that creative energy in our work, right? You can be creative as a business person, creative as an attorney, but are you getting to use the creative, inspired part of you in your work? You've got to dream it before you make it real, right? It has to start as a vision. Then Saturn's going to come into the picture and show you where you need to do the work. Do you need another degree? Do you need to boost your resume up and apply for different jobs? Saturn's going to help you do that, okay? Super good. I love it. Okay. For Leo, this is happening in your 9th house of spirituality, higher education, publication, foreign travel. So it's a big, big house and it's kind of all over the place, yeah? But it all has to do with big picture things, right? Foreign travel, getting the work that you do, your writing or your podcasting or whatever it is, out to the public. And spirituality, what's bigger than that? Higher education, expanding your mind. So 9th house is confusing to a lot of people, but if you think about it as just sort of expansion and getting bigger, I think you can see where the topics tie in. And this is just really going to be like, what's your dream here? I think a lot of people, this is going to have to do with spirituality. Have you been wanting to get into a psychic development course, study astrology, join a coven? Do you want to go back for a graduate degree or a certification of some kind? Do you want to launch a webinar series, a podcast series that's educational? That's higher education too. Have you been wanting to travel more and you need to figure out how to make that happen? This is the time to dream those dreams. What do you truly want in these areas? Then Saturn comes along midweek and he's going to help you see, with the help of the sun, right? He's going to help you see where the work needs to be done so that you can manifest all of this stuff. That's pretty wonderful. All right, for Virgo, this is happening in your 8th house of joint finances. So, what are you inspired to do as far as investing, finding investors, getting out of debt? All of that kind of stuff. What is your greatest dream around that big wealth kind of stuff? Dream it. Allow yourself to dream it. But remember, if you're like, oh yeah, I want to get out of debt, I'm so broke all the time, and then you're spending like a rich kid with a trust fund instead of paying off your credit cards, well, it's going to shine the light on that too. So remember, in all of the houses, I haven't been stressing that in all of them, but money issues, I know, maybe this is just me talking, but I know it's very easy to kind of recognize too late that you were trying to get out of debt, but there was just that one more thing to use the credit card for. Yeah, if you've been playing those kind of games, it's going to come to light here. Anyway, as with all of the houses, Saturn comes into the picture and he's going to show you where you need to do the work. How do you attract those investors that you're looking for? Or how do you learn about investing money? What course could you take or whatever? Where's a webinar that will teach you so that you can start building that wealth you want? Or if you need to budget better so that you can get out of debt, Saturn will bring that all down to earth and give you the tools, help you find the tools that you need. All right, Libra, you know you're going to love this. This is happening in your 7th house, all primary one-on-one relationships, but we all know we call it the marriage house, primary partner house. And this is, what are your dreams in this area? Do you want to get married? Do you want to get divorced? Hey, you know what? Sometimes I've been working with a lot of people recently that their actual romantic goal is to get out of the dead end long-term relationship they've been in, but they don't know how. All right. So it's not always when we're thinking about, marriage or primary partnership in that way, we're always thinking about how to get one or how to keep it or how to make it better. But sometimes the answer is, how do we ditch it? But in a kind and gentle way, maybe, if we need to think like that. So whatever it is, fantasize, right? This is going to allow you to fantasize and really examine your soul. What do you want? What do you truly want in your heart and soul? And then Saturn comes along and says, well, you know, maybe we have to get a little practical. The partner may not be the most beautiful, most wealthy, most X, most Y, most Z, right? I mean, you get what I'm saying. So Saturn comes along and kind of like puts our feet back on the ground, helps us get realistic, and just helps us get realistic and know how to get what we want. This is another one, you guys, you got to put the work in. Your marriage needs to be better somehow. What work needs to be done? You're not finding the kind of dates that you want to find. Find, is that even the right word? But you guys get what I mean, right? You can tell I haven't dated in a really long time. You got to do the work. You got to get out there. You got to do stuff, right? So that people can find you. The good thing about this also that I really, really like is Venus is also in the house at this time. And so I think for anyone looking for love or looking to up their love game, whether with a new partner or an existing partner, I think that's going to happen. I think this is a good time for you guys. All right. Moving right along to Scorpio. This is in your 6th house of physical health. So this is really like, what are your goals? What do you dream for yourself? What's your goal weight, your goal muscle mass, your goal diet, whatever it is? Really let yourself imagine you at peak health. What does that look like? What does that feel like? And then Saturn says, all right, let's get to work. Here's the gym. Here's I don't know what people do with diets anymore, calorie counter, thing. Here's the thing that's going to help you meet your goals. All right. The other thing 6th house is day-to-day routines. So it could come up for you in that way where you're really saying, my days just don't flow the way I want them to. So let me try to get in touch with my inner needs and then put my life together in a way that feels better. But for most of you, I think this is going to be physical health, okay? And physical health routines. All right, moving right along to Sagittarius. Sag, for you, this is brilliant because this is a creative kind of thing going on with Neptune, and it's happening in your 5th house of creativity. So any of you Sag people who are artists or creatives in any kind of way, boy, this is the week for you, right? Because this is going to be about really getting into that artistic inspiration, that flow of creative juice that comes from Neptune, and then really, pushing up your sleeves and getting to work, painting that canvas, writing that novel, whatever it is. This is genius for you guys. And remember, it's the same week that Mercury is going to pass over the North Node of Destiny. So especially for writers and anybody who's a communicator in their arts. So that could even be actors, and people like that. But anyway, you guys, this is so your week. Now, for those of you who aren't artists, the 5th house is also children. So this could be about really figuring out, do you want to have kids? Do you not? What do you have to do to make whatever dream it is a reality? If you're parents, this could be, getting more creative with how you parent, but also doing the work on yourself and on your relationship with your children. But it will be in that sense of being more creative with them, if that makes sense. And then the rest of you, this is the house of sex. So what do I got to say, right? What do you want? What do you like if you didn't have any weird inhibitions, right? Like if we stripped all of those away, because that's what the sun is doing with Neptune, stripping it all away. So if we got rid of all of our inhibitions, what do you really want sexually? And then Saturn comes along and says, okay, let's make it real. So you get it, right? All right. And the next sign is Capricorn. Capricorn, this is happening in your fourth house of home and family. So that's exactly what it is, thinking about your family structure, family dynamics, your actual physical home. What do you want it to be like? How do you want it to feel? Does it flow? Is the energy flowing with your family members the way you want? When you walk inside your house, is the energy what you want it to be? Does it feel the way you want it to feel? You might have some work you need to do. Maybe you need to paint a wall or hang a something. What do people hang? Hang a picture on the wall, get some house plants. I don't know. But get ready to do the work to sort of transform your home environment, right? I love it. And you guys all need to invite me over after because I want to see what you hung on the walls. All right, Aquarius. This is happening in your third house, which is interesting. It's the house of siblings, so you could be working on your relationship with siblings this week. I think that's going to be very few of y'all, but it could be where you're really kind of reimagining how you want your relationship dynamics to work and then getting busy and doing the work with your sibling to try to move your relationship forward in maybe a more soulful way. But this is also, and I think going to be true for more people, this is the house of communication, writing, and local community. Okay. So I think this is how do you want to show up in your community? And that's been a big theme all year, and it's going to continue to be a big theme all year. Who do you want to be in your community? What community do you want to be a member of? How do you want to show up there? Do you need to start a group, join a group? If you have writing skills or communication skills, can you contribute those to some community organization that needs some help in that way? But this is also just straight up communication. So this is genius for any writers, content creators, any of you guys out there, y'all. I hate to say you guys, so I say y'all. They're both annoying, right? I don't know what to say. English doesn't have a plural you, which is crazy. So back to astrology. For you creators, get into that creative energy. That's what Neptune is, right? Really tap into it, let it flow, and then do the work to produce the podcast, the YouTube video, the course you're creating, the thing you're writing. So this is really, really good for you guys this week. And again, with Mercury hitting the North Node for the third pass this week, that's also going to be really important for Aquarians who have this big deal going on in the third house. It's all about, inspired creation moving forward. I love it. Wow. I kind of wish I were an Aquarian, but I'm not. Okay, for Pisces. Pisces, this is happening in your second house of money. That's what it is. It is money. So how do you need to restructure your stuff? It's possessions, it's money, it's all of that kind of thing. You're going to probably have inspiration, creative ideas about how to make new money, how you want to bring in the wealth. And then Saturn's going to help you do the work so that you actually manifest those things. It's easy to come up with the ideas. Yeah, well, not always. Let me take that back. Not always. Often, it's easy to come up with the ideas like, oh, if I just did this side hustle, or if I added this offering to what I do, or whatever, if I got my resume out to, apply for higher level jobs, I could really increase my income. But then the problem is, we got to go out there and do the stuff. So if you know that side hustle would really help you, yeah, but you got to do the side hustle, right? So a lot of us are really good on thinking. I'm maybe only speaking for myself, but I am for sure speaking for myself. I think a lot of us, though, are really good with the ideas, but then you have to have the energy and the time, and you got to do the work and all of that stuff. This week, all of that is going to flow, and that's a really good thing. So I'm wishing you good luck on filling up the bank accounts. I think you can do it this week. You're going to have the better side of Saturn helping you. All right, I hope that was helpful. This is one where you guys need to tell me, because some weeks I really see the advantage of going sign by sign. And some weeks like this one, I sort of feel like I was saying kind of the same thing over and over and over again. So tell me if you feel like this was useful. I know you've been liking the sign by sign. Do you want me to use my own judgment and sometimes not do it? Anyway, let me know. You can contact me. I think there's stuff down in the show notes. You can absolutely talk to me over on Substack in the comments. And yeah, it's a big week. It's a lot of energy, and I think it's really gonna manifest a lot, or help us manifest a lot. I hope this was helpful. And again, thank you all for being here. Thank you for listening. And as always, go out and seize the energies of the stars. This is my wish for you always. And I'll see you next week. Bye.